Hi lovelies and welcome back to this channel. If you are new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos, that leave commentaries and also educate you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Alright lovelies, let's dive into today's video. So lovelies, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought to share with you guys where this young lady, is talking about how the student that is actually protesting is being bullied and want to be kept quiet for actually spitting the truth. Guys, I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of the stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your thoughts in the comment section and let's dive into it.
Hey guys, so there's a thing happening where members of the commentariat, people who are commenting on the protests on now dozens of college campuses across the country I don't know how else you can describe it other than bullying the students on these campuses by claiming that these protests, and I think out of a genuine fear that these protests will have a sort of 1968 effect, the 1968 anti-Vietnam War protests that roiled the Chicago Democratic Convention and really, cost Lyndon Baines Johnson the presidency because he ended up withdrawing. Hubert Humphrey ended up being the nominee. Long story short, essentially Vietnam drove Johnson off the ticket and Nixon ended up becoming president. And I think so out of a genuine fear that that is going to play out again, a fear that's being fueled on purpose by people like Christopher Rufo, the fake moral panic guy from critical race theory and DEI, and people on the right who are trying to glom onto these protests and push, the narrative that this is a reason to, I guess in their mind, vote for Donald Trump, who has an even worse record when it comes to Palestinians and Israelis and any idea of peace. But anyway, I think out of a genuine fear that a sort of 1968 moment is building, you're starting to see people in the Democratic side commentariat essentially try to bully and bludgeon these young people on these college campuses to essentially kind of order them to stop caring about what's happening in Gaza. Stop caring about the 34,000 people who are dead, who are mainly women and children. Stop protesting it. Stop talking about it. Stop being mad about it. Stop feeling any way about it. And trying to bully these students into shutting up and accepting that whatever it is that the Israeli government, which is a foreign government, a nation state government, does is fine, and you've got to accept it because otherwise you're going to hurt Joe Biden, and that's the narrative. And I get where that's coming from, out of a fear of a Trump presidency, which is something genuinely to fear. But that is happening at the same time that the leader of that nation state, Bibi Netanyahu, is like making English language videos stating that not only are these protests inherently anti-Semitic, even though a lot of the students who are participating in the protests are themselves Jewish, and the Columbia University protests began with two organizations being banned from Columbia: Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voice for Peace. The Columbia University chapters of both of those organizations were banned. That's part of what started the protests. One of those is Jewish Voice for Peace. But, so you've got the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, claiming that these protests are in and of themselves anti-Semitic because they're critical of Israel, a nation state's policies. And then the second piece of it, you've got some American politicians, including some Democrats, saying the same thing, even though, some Jewish politicians like Bernie Sanders are saying the opposite, saying that's not true.
No, Mr. Netanyahu, it is not anti-Semitic or pro-Hamas to point out that in a little over 6 months, your extremist government has killed 34,000 Palestinians and wounded more than 78,000, 70% of whom are women and children. It is not anti-Semitic to point out that your bombing has completely destroyed more than 221,000 housing units in Gaza, leaving more than 1 million people homeless, almost half the population. It is not anti-Semitic to note that your government has obliterated Gaza's civilian infrastructure, electricity, water, and sewage. It is not anti-Semitic to realize that your government has annihilated Gaza's healthcare system, knocking 26 hospitals out of service and killing more than 400 healthcare workers. It is not anti-Semitic to condemn your government's destruction of all of Gaza's 12 universities and 56 of its schools, with hundreds more damaged, leaving 625,000 students with no educational opportunities. It is not anti-Semitic to agree with virtually every humanitarian organization in saying that your government, in violation of American law, has unreasonably blocked humanitarian aid coming into Gaza, creating the conditions in which so many thousands of children face malnutrition and famine. Mr. Netanyahu, anti-Semitism is a vile and disgusting form of bigotry that has done unspeakable harm to many millions of people. But please, do not insult the intelligence of the American people by attempting to distract us from the immoral and illegal war policies of your extremist and racist government. Do not use anti-Semitism to deflect attention from the criminal indictment you are facing in the Israeli courts. It is not anti-Semitic to hold you accountable for your actions.
And then he's also saying, Netanyahu, that the ICC, the International Criminal Court, if they were to issue indictments against him, which would be individual indictments against himself and some of his war cabinet ministers, maybe his defense minister, we don't know who they might be, or even if the ICC is going to issue arrest warrants charging them with genocide and crimes against humanity or whatever. But he's saying those charges would be anti-Semitic.
You have to hear this to believe this. The International Criminal Court in The Hague is contemplating issuing arrest warrants against senior Israeli government and military officials as war criminals. This would be an outrage of historic proportions. International bodies like the ICC arose in the wake of the Holocaust committed against the Jewish people. They were set up to prevent such horrors, to prevent future genocides. Yet now, the International Court is trying to put Israel in the dock. It's trying to put us in the dock as we defend ourselves against genocidal terrorists and regimes, Iran of course, that openly works to destroy the one and only Jewish state. Branding Israel's leaders and soldiers as war criminals will pour jet fuel on the fires of anti-Semitism, those fires that are already raging on the campuses of America and across capitals around the world. It will also be the first time that a democratic country fighting for its life according to the rules of war is itself accused of war crimes.
Wait a minute, Houseway. You're now taking the very real, very legitimate issue of anti-Semitism, which is spiking around the world, and which is a genuine problem, just as anti-Muslim bigotry is a rising and spiking problem around the world. These both are real, genuine things. But you're now saying that you're taking that very real thing and saying, no. Anti-Semitism is indicting me as an individual. You've now personalized it to yourself. So you're saying that you, because you are the head of this nation state, if you are indicted, that's anti-Semitism? Wait a minute. So you're saying that it's about you. It's about you yourself as this prime minister of a nation state. That if you get indicted for your actions, your decisions, the decisions that you made as the head of the nation state, that's anti-Semitism too. I need somebody to explain to me how that could possibly be. Because anti-Semitism is the hatred of a people based on their Jewish identity. And that is a pernicious and awful thing. But a criminal indictment of you, if it happens, and nobody knows if it's going to happen. It wouldn't be a criminal indictment. It would be a ICC indictment. If that happened, that's not hatred of Benjamin Netanyahu as a Jewish person. That is an assessment that Benjamin Netanyahu, as the head of a nation state, may have committed war crimes. That is a very different.
I need somebody to come get Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I need somebody to come get her. She was having a conversation on Morning Joe, and what she was talking about college students basically not understanding why they're protesting. Roll the clip.
I have had many conversations, as you have had, with a lot of young people over the last many months now. And you're right, they don't know very much at all about the history of the Middle East, or frankly about history in many areas of the world, including in our own country. But with respect to the Middle East...
So what we need is for Hillary Clinton and everybody who thinks like her to grab all the seats you can and take them to the edge of the known universe and sit down and shut up. Every time I see the intellectual dishonesty of someone like Hillary Clinton taken to a platform to talk down to college students by telling them they don't understand the history of the Middle East, it tells me two things. One, that they truly don't understand what college students are protesting for, like the divestments of their particular universities in Israel. And two, you don't have to understand the history of something to understand that genocide is wrong. And it makes me wonder how white liberals like Hillary Clinton can say the things they're saying about present-day college protests when they say they participated in the civil rights protests that happened on campuses throughout the 60s and 70s. You do understand that you didn't have to understand the whole history of racism and segregation in this country to understand that it was wrong.
Please understand that these kids have been protesting their entire lives. This is the Sandy Hook generation. These kids who are now in college were between kindergarten and 5th grade when Sandy Hook happened. They were between 6th grade and 11th grade when Parkland happened. These are kids who marched in the street in 2018 when Parkland was happening and nobody in the government was listening to them. Their entire experience of education has been under attack, whether they are hiding under desks during drills or barricading doors, or whether their schools are occupied by police officers. They have been in danger their entire education. It is inaccurate and blood-boiling when I hear Bibi Netanyahu call these kids anti-Semitic. Please understand, for context and juxtaposition, Israeli 18-year-olds are mandated to join the IDF. They spend their entire lives knowing that they will be trained as soldiers. American children are trained to be under siege. For these kids, there is no safe classroom to return to. The classroom has always been a space of volatility and chance. This is personal to me because these are my kids. I taught at a New York City public school for 10 years while I taught at Columbia. I also taught at NYU. I know these kids. And if you don't get what they've been through, the anxieties they faced, if you have not had to barricade yourself in a classroom with a bunch of students and make them be quiet so that we could all be safe, then you might not understand what this generation is standing up to.
Like, seriously, lovelies, this, people have been looking for a way to, keep people quiet. They have been looking for a way to shut people up. So this student decided that they are done, like they are fed up with the things that is happening all over, especially in Palestine, Congo, and whosoever place that have been faced with, this level of genocide and all of that. And the students decided to take it upon themselves to actually come out and rally, to actually come out and protest that, okay, it's actually a peaceful one. It's a peaceful protest, like telling their distress, telling how, why is it that things like this have been happening and it's been neglected all over the place, and it's as if, these lives does not really matter. And instead of these people to actually consider the student to actually at least, okay, well, since student has come out to give a peaceful protest, let's just do something. Let's just try as much as you can to look towards this. They have used even the International Court of Justice to have placed their own, like it's not even working, but it's still continue. And all that they could do was to pass a bill of anti-Semitic. Like if you speak ill, or if you talk about ill things about something that is happening in, Gaza, Palestine, it has been, it's like, seriously, lovelies, they passed a bill that, look such thing as a crime. Like you do not have the ability to express yourself. There is no thing like freedom of speech. You cannot even express yourself anymore, because if you do so, it tends to be illegal to actually do something like that. This even affected the rate at which people begin to look into all the bills, and they found out the New Testament in the Bible, because if you watch in the New Testament, that was where a lot of drama happened with Yeshua and all of that, and how he was crucified. So this bill partially affected it, which a lot of people prove, okay, it did not actually affect it. So how could your people decided to humiliate some certain group of people, and you decided to like do with you or do with them whatsoever you like, and you expect people just to keep quiet and allow such ill treatment go on? You expect people not to talk about it. You expect people not to even share their own opinion. And when these people decide or try to point fingers, you want to term it an anti-Semitic, because you want people to just keep quiet and allow you guys to do whatsoever you want to do. And this is so hard, like disheartening. This student have seen that even the society is not doing something about it. They, nobody is doing anything about it, and they decide that, okay, why not we come together and actually have a peaceful protest to tell people that, or to tell the society that we are aware of what is happening, even if people are pretending that they are not aware. Even people are living their normal life, living their precious life, while some people cannot even feed, while some people are always praying now, they are always in fear not to be pew-pewed or all of that. People are always living in fear, but there are some set of people that do not care about these people and what happens to humanity. So this student decided that, okay, we want to take it upon ourselves to actually come out and have a peaceful protest to see if it's going to change any narrative. But no, the only thing that it's brought was to pass a bill of anti-Semitic. That means that your people do not care about people's feelings. Your people do not care about anything anyone is going on in Gaza, be it Gaza, Congo, Palestine, or whatsoever. You do not care about that. And this Yahoo every man is trying to make it seem as if we are criticizing him, like it's now anti-Semitic if we blame him for whatsoever that is happening over there. Like, this is just not making sense. Like, seriously, you have to fix whatsoever that is happening there. So you want people to just chill and take all the injustice that is happening over Gaza, or that is happening all of the places. You don't want to take accountability with whatsoever that is happening there. So you decided that passing this bill, it's a kind of a form for people to leave you alone to actually do whatsoever you want to do. or to people to just not talk about what is happening in Gaza. Like, seriously. But this student, they decided that, okay, since nobody is doing anything, is not doing nothing, why not we just do something? Why not we just have a silent protest that might actually, make people to know that, okay, this thing is something that is getting on our nerves. But this student decided to do that is now a problem for you guys. And this woman who happened to talk about how they do not know, what they are doing. This, students, they don't know what they're doing. Like, they actually know what they are doing. They are fighting for humanitarian rights. They are fighting for people's liberation. This is what they are doing. They know exactly they know what humanity is all about. And everyone cannot be cruel like you guys. Like, seriously, love this. And this man is here sharing and trying to, make it look as if you are not supposed to, blame him for whatsoever that is happening in God. That they are trying to, defend themselves. But the media and every other people knows the truth. They know the people that is on the receiving end. They know the people that have been suffering for a very long time. They know the people that have been humiliated for a very long time. But you guys will talk about how all of the things we see on media is all propaganda. It's not true. It's not true. So will you tell us that all of those things we see is just an act? It's just a movie? It's something that was just planned? So all of those, all the things we see, it's all planned. It's all, movie. You've been talking about how, they're attacking Israel. What about Israel? We are not seeing that of the Israel. Is it that they do that when the media is not there to capture it, or what? Like, just make it make sense. Seriously, lovelies. When I saw this video, I was like, okay, here we go again. I know. Here we go again. So you do not want people to criticize you. You do not want people to talk about what is happening. Everybody should just focus on their daily activities and pretend as if everything is all right, while there are underage people going out so many things that are not opportune, just like the other children in the society or in the world. It's been over 6 to 7, 8 months now. Seriously. We're not even forgetting about what is happening in Congo as well. Even if people do not want to talk about it, a lot is going in Congo, which also need advocacy. Seriously, lovelies. Enough of all of these already. Everybody is just, being selfish. Everybody wants to, since it does not concern me, I don't care. This is why people are boycotting celebrities nowadays. Because instead of these people to use their platform to talk about what is happening, to talk about the happenings in the society, they don't care. So far they have their own means. Their life has been okay, and any other person, it's none of your business, which I wouldn't blame them. But at least let us all be human for once and think about each other. Anyways, lovelies, why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes. So please share this video, subscribe to this channel if you're here to do that. And I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one.
I've watched up to this extent. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that this channel, we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes. So please share this video, subscribe, and leave your thoughts. And I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one.